I do still get Kofi Annan, who was an inspirational figure, one of the reasons that drew me to work for the UN in the first place. Ban Ki-moon, our current Secretary General from, extra credit?
South Korea.
You are good. Is you. South Korea. And he's a relatively low-key figure. He's very Asian, very humble, not one to go out and grab the spotlight. In fact, it's quite arguable that the reason that the previous administration probably threw a lot of support behind him is that he was going to put more emphasis on the secretary part of being Secretary General as opposed to being the general part that is the world's secular pope, as some have described the position. But inevitably, our Secretary General, and particularly since now Secretary General Ban has just won unanimous approval for a second 5-year term, our Secretaries General feel the burden of being the voice for the voiceless. Yes, the UN is a forum to which our member states come to deal with issues, but ultimately our member states' primary job is to serve as a representative of their citizens, of their people. And when those voices aren't being heard, the burden sometimes falls to the Secretary General to speak for them. That's when the UN gets itself in a little bit of an uncomfortable arena of being an actor on the stage when maybe some of our member states would prefer it or not. So the UN is our Secretary General. The UN is the Security Council. Hopefully in Q&A someone will ask me about Security Council reform. That's one of my favorite questions, because the Security Council has got our P5, US, UK, Russia, China, France, the permanent 5 members that have always got a seat. Plus, oh yeah, one extra special power that's really fun, a veto. Any one of the P5 doesn't like something in the Security Council, it ain't going to happen. And in fact, to those that I encounter with some regularity, both inside the Washington Beltway and outside it, this fear that the United Nations is somehow going to take the gun out of your hands, or take over the internet, or tell you you can't spank your children, or take over big chunks of the United States parklands, don't worry so much. There are much bigger things to worry about. And if there's anything along those lines that actually stands a snowball's chance of happening, you can rest assured that the United States is going to exercise that veto power in the Security Council. None of these initiatives that may be discussed at times at the UN are going to happen over a veto of the US on the Security Council, or without our own US Congress enacting legislation to make it the law of the land. The United Nations never supersedes the laws of the United States. So we'll set that concern aside.